I'm loving this. Welcome to episode 23 of the OCD Backpacker series. I'm your host, Matthew Flansburgh, the OCD Backpacker. This is our fourth installment of our chair review for backpackers. And I've got to say, I am really in love with this chair, and I know I shouldn't be. It's the MOONLITE by NEMO, and this is black pearl. Couple things. Most of my equipment and the stuff that I'm purchasing, I'm defaulting into the dark gray black category for aesthetic purposes. Second thing, all the data that I talk about in these videos is available in the master spreadsheet that I've created. It's the second link in the description. That'll take you to everything. Every episode that I talk about things will be there somewhere in that data set, and it's evergreen, meaning there's only going to be one link, and so I'm just going to be updating that one spreadsheet over time. So if you want to check out a great data set, you can download that, see how everything works. I aggregate by section. You'll see what I'm talking about if you click it. So back to the NEMO MOONLITE, the most expensive chair maybe on the market. Here's what caught my attention. Couple things, actually. As you know, I've been trying to solve the problem of the mud problem, where this thing sinks in the mud, which only happened 25% of the time in the superstitions. But I don't like it happen anytime, and I have been invited to go on a backpacking trip to Rainbow Lake here in Colorado in July, and I want to go fishing. And I don't want to be on the edge of a river with that chair because I plan on being lazy. This is what caught my attention. This solves the problem of the mud. These feet, they're huge, they're great. It's almost as if somebody was listening when problems like this occur, right? So this chair caught my attention, and you can tell, I mean, we're talking about 6 times maybe the surface area, and maybe 2 or 3 times the surface area for those guys. Hopefully that resolves. But you can tell, and you can tell that these poles are much thicker too. This is plastic, this is aluminum. So durability wise, for this review, we are going to be comparing all the chairs against one another in this lineup. Now these are displayed in chronological order from the time I have purchased and used them, starting with the left, this FLEXLIGHT here by REI Co-op, weighing in at 29.1 ounces, the cheapest as far as price point goes. It's 6 years old. Second chair, Chair 0 by HELINOX, is a super light, and I would say out of the 4, the third most expensive. It's the second lightest chair at 18.2 ounces. It is 4 years old. I like it very much as well. So you're kind of like Goldilocks in this. The FLEXLIGHT Air by REI Co-op is my daughter's chair, and it comes in at less than the HELINOX, and surprisingly it weighs about 1.5 ounces less than the Chair 0 by HELINOX. And that is weighed both with their respective carrying cases you can see attached. And I should say, this is a great time to remind you, backpackers, every time you put your chair up, put the sack inside the frame through the loop so that it doesn't blow away. You only do that once, so just a reminder. So on the far end of the right here is our MOONLITE by NEMO. It is the heaviest and most expensive. However, it has features and solves problems that I have found that all 3 of these other chairs share in common. Coming in at 34.45 ounces, and that's not with this case, that's with our miracle case. That broken chair that we returned, well, they didn't need this. So now this is going to be the lighter way of toting this around. And here's the thing, this weighs more, and this is great for storage. It's going to keep the chair protected, but for backpacking, I want a more breathable option. Sorry if that's out of frame. I want a more breathable option. This is perfect, because when this gets wet, not if, when it gets wet, you don't want this to be moldy. And I feel like long term, this is great for dry storage. On the trail, much better. So that's the 34.45, not with this. So that's the funny part, is that this is it's just heavy, but it's built so well and engineered so well. Another construction point is this. See if I can't circle around. Yeah, right here. This is rubber, and it doesn't fit over. It's a tight fit. It's like a rotating cuff type of thing. It snaps right in. This material, it's awesome. The wind's going to pass right through it, so it's not going to blow over. I like that. And of course, the feet, these monster feet. But it's got one last feature. And I'm going to show you that in action. Watch this. So you're sitting around the campfire. This upright position's awesome. It gives me good support. I can whittle wood, work, eat, hang out. But then at nighttime, if I want to kick back, this thing, oh, that's nice. It's true. I am so glad that you're going to be bringing this chair in for me.
Hello. My dispatcher says there's something inside ÜBERCOMFORTABLE.
What the? Who let you?
Your wife let me in. That's why they sent me. I am an expert.
As you know, I don't go fishing, I go catching. I don't go hiking, I go sitting. I believe in nothing else. But this chair is absolutely amazing. Yeah. So how does this individual chair compare amongst its peers and the other chairs of its class here? Well, let's do a quick rundown. So the FLEXLIGHT by REI Co-op is a really great chair. This is my first chair of this kind. I've had numerous ones way before that, but this is my first foray into like a really nice chair. 6 years old. I love it. I think it's a great chair. It's sturdy, reliable. I use this around the garage when I choose any of them to sit on, just because I know that it's a little more sturdy and a little more durable, and that's due to its weight. Why would I recommend this chair? I would recommend this chair in particular to anybody new or anybody who's going to go on less than 4 or 5 hikes a year. If you get into the super serious territory, I think that's when we kind of transition into these middle two, where you're going to be saving ounces and paying for those in dollars, in real dollar value. So this would be a great beginner's chair. It'll never go bad, and if it does, you've got REI's warranty to fall back on. A couple years later, 2019, I purchased this chair, and I truly love it. Although if you look at the Superstition trip retrospective, this chair and all 3 of these chairs share one thing in common that really bugs me. It bugs me a lot. And that is, in mud, the footprint on all of these chairs is such that, depending on the conditions, I was sinking into the mud fully every couple minutes with this very small footprint. So how did I try to solve that problem? Well, as you'll see in this individual write-up, this episode, I tried to solve it with these Vibram feet, and it was an impulse buy, and I regret it. Because all it did was add weight to something that by design is supposed to be light. So at 18.2 ounces in bag, this is a great ultralight backpacking option if you're into chairs, which I am, obviously. On the flip side, you have REI FLEXLIGHT co-op chair here, which is slightly less. Actually, it's what, 1.25 ounces less. Now, we are going to test out the REI return policy before I get to its individual write-up, because unfortunately, and it was, I think, due to some factory fault, this chair failed even before we left. I was doing a review, I sat on this and it snapped, and I was very thankful, hopefully that resolved. I was very thankful that this happened in my garage and not out on the trail. So we're going to be replacing this for the individual write-up, but this chair weighs less, and it actually, most of the time, is less expensive than this in comparison. So really, I would say for most people, either of these two is just an awesome choice. You'll never have to buy another chair, unless you kind of you think you see this beautiful, and this is where I get conflicted. It's the most expensive chair, but price aside, what does this have that these other three don't besides more weight? And honestly, I look at this from the top down, and its construction, and the fact that these points where you get your surface area touching the ground are massive, and that solves the mud problem. Another thing this chair solves is a problem I didn't know chairs had, and this has a reclining feature. So if I'm whittling wood, I can pull these straps up and get close and have that chair support my back. And if I want to recline at night and look at the stars, these straps come out and boom, this reclines. So in the world of getting lighter, 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 this thing pops up on the radar. It solves the mud problem, but what good is it? So we're adding poundage here. It's got two anvils, or two big things here. So why would somebody take this out compared to any of these others? We'll stick to the middle two. Well, quite honestly, if I'm going to go fishing, or if I have a shorter hike, a shorter adventure, and I have a place where I'm going to be for a while, this is the chair. This is the chair to do that type of thing in, because I don't want to slip in the mud like I did before. That's annoying to me. Now, depending on conditions, and I'll wrap this up, there's arguments for either of these types of chairs. This for comfort. This would be something where, you know, Uli Kunkel would love this chair.
Oh my lord. Yeah, this is uber comfortable, not true.
Whereas Stephan Ultralight.
Hello, Matthew.
It's Stephan Ultralight!
5-time world champion ultralight backpacker. Let me set the record straight. Most of us ultralight guys, we don't believe in chairs. No. We believe in the squat. Next, if you're gonna go ultralight, take your pad like this, sacrifice 2 sections. There's your chair. And that leaves everything else, except for your legs, to have a nice, comfortable back mat. Because who cares about your feet, right? Who cares about your legs? It's ultralight. If I didn't need them, I'd take them off. As for the chairs, either of these chairs would be a really good pick for an ultralight option if you were into chairs. However, bang for the buck, I would have to go with the REI Co-op. FLEXLIGHT Air is my choice. Stephan Ultralight approved. Not that this isn't approved. Not that this isn't approved. It is, it's approved as well. If I ever needed a chair.
And I think when you're evaluating what trip you're going on, it really helps determine the outcome. Because in July, I'm doing a hike into Rainbow Lake for 2 to 3 days. I'm bringing this fishing chair. I'm gonna have a great time at the edge of a lake, and I'm gonna be fishing most of the day. So I want something that's not gonna sink in the mud. Now, for a 27-mile, you know, where we're switching out and we don't have a permanent camp, I'd probably take the HELINOX out and keep that for those longer through hike type of scenarios. But truly, I think it all comes down to how much weight, the price point, and what kind of features you really want, dependent upon the trip you're about to take. So, oh God, to be young and insane. Okay, so back to it. This chair is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's almost 2 pounds, folks. But it's so cool. Oh, it's killing me. It's like one of those things. It's like a trophy wife. You want to totally fall in love with it, but you know it's got problems. A little bit crazy. Like, who needs this? Who needs a reclining camp chair? Guess who? Me. I do. I'll take it. In fact, I think this, in perspective, with these other chairs in mind, this is the perfect chair for shorter hikes or for destination hiking where you're going to be spending some time. So my intended purpose for this chair is specifically to be on the edge of a lake and to hang out and fish for a couple days. And I think this is a better option for that, regardless if it's a 5 to 6 mile trek in. By the time I get there, I will appreciate this chair more than the pain of perhaps this guy. Because near a lake, safe to assume it's going to be wet. And in July, expect showers daily in the mountains. But back to the Moonlight, and we'll throw some data up there. And if I haven't taken the time this episode, I want to burn a Viking ship with a dead lighter in it to get it through customs outside of Valhalla over the Rainbow Bridge. Perfect time because we're going to a Rainbow Lake. So yeah, looking for 2,000 people to witness that with me. We're very close. So if you subscribe, you'll get notified, and we'll burn that. We'll burn the Viking ship together. Until then, if you're looking at chairs, I think it comes down to rating. This is a 9+. It'd be a 10 if it was below 25, maybe 26 ounces. It would be perfect. But this isn't perfect. This thing is amazing. It's just heavier than I would like chairs to be. 9+. Uber comfortable, no doubt about it. Is it a star product? Well, I'll tell you, if we catch any fish, it'll probably be dependent upon that, which is sad because the two shouldn't correlate. But that's kind of how things go, right, in reality. So the Moonlight by NEMO. I feel like I'm Depeche moding on this chair, and I just can't get enough of it. Yeah, this thing's cool. The more I look into the details, the people that were responsible for engineering this product, dude, great, amazing next generation job in product development. And I'll detail now why I think this thing is remarkable. So we're going to compare it head to head with kind of the industry leader as far as ultralight chairs go, and that's the HELINOX Chair Zero. So this frame is at 20.55 ounces, and that is the NEMO Moonlight we've been talking about. However, oh, stay with me, there we go. At 12.8 ounces, which is only 8 ounces less, 8 ounces is the difference between these two chairs. And why is that significant? Well, I introduced a solution at 8 ounces before that solved the mud problem, and I was willing to pay $40 for that solution, but it was ridiculous. And that was just to prevent sinking in the mud. But look at this. Okay, that's the surface area that you're punching through compared to that. The two, for 8 ounces in difference, it's the same as buying those additional balls. But look, we've got an inherently better engineered product out of the box. Other things that are different, just observations. This is plastic, this is aluminum. This is a 2-ply aluminum in some places. 2-ply there, 2-ply here. You can see the 2-ply there. This is color-coded to show you if the chair is fully put together or not. It's got these retention hash marks there. Let me see if I can free it up. There we go. Chair wants to be attached, but you see it'll give you a line to show you, okay, am I attached correctly? So you don't break a chair like I've broke before, right? So that's what the purpose of this red is. So bravo. So there's a couple things visually, and then mechanically with the aluminum hubs here, cast, forged, whatever, aluminum, compared to this plastic, which over time, the sun will damage this and this cord inside of it over time, right? So from an engineering perspective, for 8 ounces, we've gained already better foothold in the mud, a better understanding if the chair is put together in comparison to the two. We've got aluminum hubs with, throughout we've got 2-ply materials. This thing is just getting better and better. Another thing that's interesting is the gauge of the steel. Now this central tube has got a shape to it. And by doing so, by having this one central tube with a shape and having fixed points on the rear legs, you can have this angle. So this angle is caused by this deviation from a straight circular pole. It allows you to have this rear angle. Now, the other one is a free rotator, just like most other chairs. But this one is fixed because of that design, another great design feature. So let's switch over to the fabrics. The NEMO backing, the fabric, the chair, all of that material plus these metal reclining, strap pulls, this all adds up to, oops, when it's all on 10.3, 10.25. In comparison, our ultralight, its fabric is much lighter at 4.8, 4.75. So, what does this mean? What are the two different principal differences between the two? They both hold your back up, right? This one's made of a polyester. This is a nylon, silicone treated nylon. This is going to let the wind pass better. These straps are made of fabric, or I should say these holds where the poles go in, they're made of reinforced fabric. These have been designed and are injection molded rubber that fit the pole ends way more efficiently than this. In fact, this is just gorgeous engineering. Like, man, I love this. It's really a rotating cuff joint, ball joint. And if we keep this rubber in good condition, this is lifetime of just amazing usage, and we'll give you the nice audible pop when we put this together. But it weighs more. So what is it? It weighs 5.5 ounces more than the HELINOX Chair Zero backing. So for 5.5 ounces, you get that reclining feature. So the reclining feature costs you 5.5 ounces. You have to decide if that is worth it, because that is pretty much the trade away. I'm going to see if I can, probably not do this one-handed, but let's see if we can get the nice audible pops in there. So this is the second one. Nice. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, so snappy. Yeah, kind of a remarkable chair. From an engineering standpoint, this team really, really accomplished a lot. And I think, realistically, this is a chair in and of itself. This is fantastic. Incredible. So I would say if NEMO wanted to go head-to-head and build a chair zero killer, meaning, okay, this is 34.45 ounces with this case, cannibalizing that case. Would it be possible to try to get rid of some of these features for an ultralight version that solves the original problem I've had with the other chairs? And it seems like with a 20-ounce frame, and then with something similar to a 4.75 or a 5-ounce fabric chair, you could get rid of the reclining feature. You could lose weight on maybe some of this fancy connection hardware, which is super cool, but overkill. Or you keep this and just lose these straps and go to a fabric, and you've got yourself a 26-ounce mud-proof with better and heavier engineered frame. Because folks, this frame is rated at 300 pounds, whereas the other chair's best was 265 and 250 for the REI versions. So again, this is where this chair again has another data point going for it. It's just a shame it's so heavy. And in reality, we're talking heavy in 2023. This thing would have been considered a remarkable space challenge achievement 5 years or less ago. So bravo to the NEMO engineers. I really, this last clip is really for them, just to have somebody at least point out their engineering achievements, because there are many with this chair. So cool, good job folks. You should feel good about your stuff, because I admire it. Going on its maiden voyage soon, but so far I'm in love with it, and that's really, really scary. But it's a cool product. Anyhow, like with anything, life, camping, hiking, all that stuff, it's rough out there. Love one another. See you soon.